Hello, my name is Joey Pauly. I'm an organizational psychologist, team development trainer, and founder and lead facilitator at Applied Leadership Teams. Today I'm here to walk you through the time management matrix. The time management matrix was a foundational component of the book Personal Kanban by Jim Benson. It was popularized in the book The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And it was adapted by a system used by President Dwight Eisenhower. Many people have found this framework valuable to help them to understand how they are using their time effectively. The two different time management dimensions we're going to discuss are if an activity is important and if an activity is urgent. And an activity is important if you personally find it valuable, if it contributes to your mission, values, and high priority goals. An activity is urgent if you or others feel it requires immediate attention. Box models. There are 4 different quadrants in here. Quadrant 1 is necessity and panic. Quadrant 2 is quadrant of effectiveness. Quadrant 3 is deception, or is it social investment? Quadrant 4 is waste and excess, or is it the organic quadrant? We'll find out soon. Let's dig into this a little bit more. The first quadrant is of necessity and panic. These are the urgent and important activities. Activities listed here relate to your values, goals, and they need immediate attention. However, spending too much time in this quadrant results in stress and burnout and a crisis mentality. Jim Benson, the author of Personal Kanban, calls this quadrant the quadrant of panic. Let's move on to quadrant 2, the quadrant of effectiveness. These are the not urgent and important activities. Quadrant 2 relates to both your values and your goals. It's a big box, as you can see from the activities listed. The more time you spend in quadrant 2, the less time you'll spend in other quadrants. There are few urgent activities that are in here. However, if you do let something go that is not urgent and not important, and it starts to be crunch time, it might turn into important and urgent. Jim Benson calls this quadrant the quadrant of Kaizen. Kaizen is also known as continuous improvement, to be able to seek small incremental changes to improve efficiency over time. Let's move on to quadrant 3, deception or social investment. These are the urgent but not important activities. These want your immediate attention, but they don't touch your values or your goals. They are often externally imposed, and here's where it gets a little bit tricky. Stephen Covey recommends limiting tasks in this quadrant because they appear to be productive, but they are actually a waste of time. Jim Benson, however, calls this the quadrant of social investment. Tasks in this quadrant can seem like a waste, but how do you know for sure? If somebody has something that is urgent and important to them, but it isn't to you, then it could be a quadrant 3 activity. If maintaining a good relationship is important to you, then it might be a quadrant 1 activity. The results of being in this quadrant, you might feel like you're in a reactive approach. You might feel resentful or victimized, strained relationships. Let's move on to quadrant 4, waste and excess or organic. These are the not urgent and not important activities. It's all the other stuff in life. Why is this a little bit tricky? Well, Jim Benson calls this the organic quadrant because it's kind of like compost. It can be assumed as waste, these activities. However, they might be pleasant activities that evolve into future value. It's your life. It's your choice. There is a caveat, however. If you do primarily focus your activities in neither the urgent nor important, then results of how you're spending your time might include lost time, not meeting commitments, disciplinary action at work, being dependent on institutions for other basics. Many people ask me, well, Joey, where should I be spending most of my time? And here's an ideal breakdown. However, I do want you to hold this lightly because depending on your circumstances, you might need to spend more time in one quadrant than another. As we say at my company, learning not applied is lost. And here's your time to apply this framework. First thing I want you to do is get out a piece of scrap paper. Download the time management matrix from the resources, or just open up a Word document. And you are going to list 3 or 4 activities in your life that fall into each quadrant. Ask, why is it important to you, or is it important to others? Once you've done that, you are going to list 2 or 3 ideas for making time for the important but not urgent activities while cutting down on the not important activities. Be as specific as you can. Make these SMART goals, and if possible, make them be able to be acted on within the next 2 weeks' time. Your last and final step is to share this with somebody else. Share your matrix and talk to them about what's important and urgent for you. What is not important and not urgent to you? What are some ideas you have for making their time, and enlist their help? Thus concludes the time management matrix. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below or email me at jp@altconsulting.us.